Chapter 1. Meet Chuchu, the Frenchie dog. The fabulous life of a French bulldog. The fabulous life of Chuchu, the Frenchie, is nothing short of a doggy dream come true. Picture a black, snorting bundle of joy with a green collar that glows like a beacon of adventure, ready to take on the world one squirrel at a time. Every time someone approaches, her ears perk up like radar dishes, scanning for potential playmates or the next snack opportunity. With her adorable little face and charming personality, Chuchu has a knack for making friends wherever she goes. From the tiniest Chihuahua to the biggest Great Dane, they all want to be part of her fabulous life. Every day is an adventure at the park, where Chuchu runs with the grace of a hippo on roller skates. She loves to chase squirrels, leaping and bounding with a determination that would make an Olympic athlete jealous. But let's not forget her barking. When someone dares to invade her space, especially if food is involved, her bark transforms into a full-on gangster growl. Neighbors chuckle, calling her the protector of the park, as she lets everyone know that her treats are off limits. Who knew such a tiny dog could have such a big voice? Chuchu's life isn't all about barking and chasing squirrels, though. She has a flair for fashion, strutting around the park in her stylish green collar that lights up like a disco ball. As she prances, other dogs can't help but admire her dazzling accessory. But the true magic happens when she gets to show off her personality, whether she's rolling in the grass or giving a dramatic sigh of annoyance when her favorite toy gets stuck under the couch. Chuchu's antics keep her friends entertained and laughing. However, life isn't always a walk in the park for our fabulous Frenchie. Chuchu has a condition that sometimes requires her to wear diapers. But don't let that fool you. This stylish pup rocks her outfit like a true fashionista, proving that even with a little hiccup in her health, she can still live her best life. And when she's not busy being a diva, she's reminding everyone that it's okay to embrace your quirks and laugh about them, turning any mishap into a hilarious story. She also sticks her tongue out when she sleeps, and one of tooth shows up sometime, which makes her look so cute and adorable. At the end of the day, Chuchu the Frenchie reminds us that life is all about friendship, fun, and a little bit of humor. From her dramatic barks to her carefree squirrel chases, she shows her friends that it's the little moments that matter the most. So next time you see a black French bulldog with a sparkling collar, just know that you're witnessing the fabulous adventures of a dog who knows how to live life to the fullest, one bark at a time. Chuchu's quirky personality. Chuchu, the Frenchie, is not your average pooch. She's a whirlwind of quirky personality traits that make her the life of the dog park. With her sleek black coat and unmistakable green collar that shines like a beacon, Chuchu struts around like she owns the place. The light on her collar is not just for show, it's Chuchu's way of saying, "Look at me, world, I'm fabulous." Her ears perk up and flap around like little radar dishes whenever someone approaches, ready to unleash her peculiar charm on unsuspecting visitors. Whether it's a friendly pat or a curious sniff, you can bet that Chuchu will make it a memorable encounter. Life with Chuchu is a comedy show on 4 legs. Her name, Chuchu, is a play of choo-choo, the sound that trains make when running. She has a knack for making her friends laugh, often engaging in her signature move, the zoomies. Picture this: one moment she's lounging on the grass, and the next, she's a blur of black fur, zipping around in circles as if the world is her racetrack. And let's not forget her love for chasing squirrels. You can hear her barking like a mini gangster, convinced she can catch one of those fluffy-tailed critters. But of course, the squirrels always have the last laugh, scampering away while Chuchu dramatically flops onto her back, panting and pretending she meant to take a break. Chuchu's temperament is as colorful as her antics. One minute she's a playful bundle of joy, and the next, she's a fierce protector of her food bowl. If anyone dares to approach her during mealtime, you might think a tiny tornado just touched down. With a bark so loud that it can rattle windows, Chuchu is known to send even the bravest of humans running for cover. Her friends have affectionately dubbed her the gangster of the dog park, a title she wears with pride. After all, who else could combine sass and sweetness so perfectly? Despite her tough exterior, Chuchu has a health condition that adds another layer to her quirky personality. Sometimes she has to wear diapers, which she wears with a flair that would make any fashionista jealous. Chuchu doesn't let that slow her down. She struts her stuff with confidence, proving that even with a few extra accessories, she can still be the star of the show. Her friends rally around her, making sure she has all the support she needs, because in Chuchu's world, it's all about love and laughter. In the end, Chuchu's quirky personality is what makes her truly special. She has a way of bringing people together, creating a community of dog lovers who celebrate her antics. From her zany zoomies to her fierce barks, she reminds everyone that life is meant to be enjoyed. So, whether she's chasing squirrels, guarding her food, or wearing her fashionable diaper with pride, Chuchu the Frenchie shows us all that being unique is what makes life an adventure worth barking about. The mystery of the green collar. Chuchu the Frenchie strutted into the dog park, her green collar shimmering like a beacon of fun and mischief. Everyone knew her by that collar, which not only looked fabulous, but also had a little light that blinked whenever she bounced around. It was like she had her own disco party wherever she went. As she made her grand entrance, her ears perked up at the sound of her friends barking. Oh, how she loved life. But today was different. There was a mystery afoot. Chuchu's nose twitched with excitement as she spotted a strange figure lurking in the shadows, and her inner detective was ready to go to work. Chuchu's friends gathered around, each one sporting their own unique accessories. There was Benny the Beagle with his bow tie and Bella the Boxer with her sparkly bandana. They all looked at Chuchu, who seemed to have a sixth sense for adventure. "What do you think it is?" Bella asked, her tail wagging. "Is it a squirrel, a new friend, or perhaps a snack thief?" Chuchu's ears perked up, and she let out a bark that could scare away even the bravest of intruders. "I bet it's a snack thief," she exclaimed. With her nose leading the way, the gang decided to investigate the mystery of the green collar. As Chuchu and her friends approached the figure, they realized it was just a tall tree with a squirrel perched on a branch. The squirrel twitched its bushy tail, seemingly daring Chuchu to come closer. "You're not going to get away that easily," Chuchu declared, her eyes narrowing. She took off in a sprint, her collar flashing like a traffic light. The chase was on. The squirrel darted this way and that, and Chuchu's little legs were pumping as fast as they could go. Her friends cheered her on, but this was no ordinary chase. Chuchu's determination mixed with her temperamental nature made her bark louder than ever, and her friends couldn't help but giggle at her gangster attitude. After a comical chase that left everyone in stitches, Chuchu finally returned to her friends, panting and proud. "Well, that was a bust," she admitted, her collar still blinking. "But at least I showed that squirrel who's boss." The group erupted in laughter, knowing that even though she may have missed out on a snack, Chuchu had brought them all together in a whirlwind of fun. They settled down on the grass, and Chuchu shared her latest adventure while everyone listened, captivated by her antics. Her ability to find humor in every situation was a reminder that joy could be found even in the quirkiest of moments. As the sun began to set, Chuchu felt a sense of contentment wash over her. She may have had her ups and downs, like the times her diaper didn't quite cooperate or when she barked a little too much at the food bowl, but she had her friends, her green collar, and an endless supply of laughter. The mystery of the day had shown her that life was not just about chasing squirrels, but also about the adventures shared with friends. With a wag of her tail and a joyful bark, Chuchu led her friends home, ready to dream of more escapades in the dog park tomorrow. Chapter 2. The dog park adventure begins. First day at the park. Chuchu the Frenchie woke up to the smell of fresh grass and sunshine. Today was the big day. Her first day at the park, with her shiny black coat and her signature green collar that glowed like a mini lighthouse, she was ready to take on the world. As she pranced around, her ears perked up at every little sound, twitching like radar dishes. "Squirrel," she thought dramatically, imagining herself as a fierce superhero on a mission. Little did she know, the real adventure was just about to begin. As soon as Chuchu arrived at the park, she spotted her friends, Benny the Beagle, Daisy the Dachshund, and even Larry the Lazy Labrador. With a bark that could shatter glass, she zoomed toward them, her little legs moving faster than a speeding bullet. "What's up, my furry pals?" she called out, tail wagging. But just as she was about to join the fun, she caught sight of a mysterious figure in the distance, a man with a hot dog. Chuchu's eyes widened, and she positioned herself like a coiled spring, ready to defend her turf. Friends are great, but food? That's a serious matter. Chuchu's day took a hilarious turn when she decided to chase after a squirrel that was clearly the fastest creature on 4 legs. She bounded through the grass, barking like a gangster on a mission, while the squirrel darted up a tree, leaving her in a cloud of confusion. "Hey, that's cheating," she yelped, her cheeks puffing out in indignation. The other dogs laughed, and Chuchu, ever the good sport, joined in the giggles, her bark echoing like a silly trumpet. Who knew chasing squirrels could be so much fun? After all that excitement, it was time to take a break. Chuchu plopped down on the grass, her little body sprawled out like a pancake. But just as she was about to relax, there was the unmistakable sound of a rustling snack bag. "Oh no, not the food," she barked, her temper flaring. She couldn't help it, her inner diva was unleashed. With her signature growl, which earned her the title of gangster dog, she stood her ground, ready to protect her treats. It was a funny sight. Tiny dog, big personality, and a whole lot of bravado. As the sun began to set, Chuchu realized that her first day at the park had been an unforgettable adventure filled with laughter, barking, and even a little chaos. With her friends by her side, she learned that every day could be an opportunity for fun, even if it meant dealing with a few squirrel antics and snack-stealing moments. As she trotted home, tail held high, Chuchu couldn't wait to share her stories, knowing that tomorrow would bring even more tail-wagging excitement. Life was pretty great, and so was being Chuchu the Frenchie, making friends with the furry crowd. Chuchu the Frenchie strutted her stuff at the dog park, her green collar glinting in the sunlight like a disco ball. Every time a new dog approached, her ears perked up and wiggled like they were doing the cha-cha. It was as if she had a radar for furry friends. With a bark that could rival a siren, she welcomed her fellow canines. Hey, you! Yeah, you with the wagging tail, let's be best pals. While some dogs might have been intimidated by her boldness, most couldn't resist her charm. After all, who wouldn't want to hang out with a dog who could pull off a green collar and a funny personality? Chuchu had a knack for making friends, but not all of her introductions were smooth sailing. One day, she spotted a fluffy golden retriever who looked like he just stepped out of a shampoo commercial. Chuchu dashed over, her paws pounding the ground like she was on a secret mission. Hey there, you golden nugget of happiness. Want to chase some squirrels? But the golden didn't respond. He was too busy sniffing a particularly interesting patch of grass. With a dramatic huff, Chuchu plopped down next to him and said, "Well, I guess I'll just have to entertain myself. Squirrel, look, squirrel." And just like that, she was off, leaving the confused retriever in her dust. Making friends was all about timing and humor, especially when it came to her temperamental side. Chuchu could be a bit of a drama queen, especially when it came to her food. One afternoon, as she munched on her kibble, a curious beagle approached. "Hey, what's cooking?" he asked, his nose twitching. Chuchu shot him a look that could freeze a fire. "You better back off, buddy. This is my gourmet meal, not a buffet." Her barks echoed through the park, and suddenly, she was known as the gangster of the dog park. The beagle wisely decided to find a friend who wasn't so food-obsessed, leaving Chuchu to enjoy her meal in peace. Chuchu's unique personality and her occasional need for diapers added to her charm. After all, who wouldn't want to be friends with a dog who could rock a diaper like a fashion statement? She wore it like a badge of honor, proudly strutting around while her friends played. "Hey, look at me. I'm not just a cute Frenchie, I'm a stylish one." Her friends couldn't help but laugh, and soon they were all joining in on the fun, chasing each other around and pretending to wear diapers too. It turned into an impromptu fashion show, with Chuchu leading the way, proving that even the quirkiest situations could spark joy and laughter. The dog park became a lively hub of friendship, filled with laughter and barks echoing under the sun. Chuchu taught everyone that making friends isn't just about being the cutest or the fastest, it's about being yourself, quirks and all. Whether she was chasing squirrels, barking like a gangster, or rocking her green collar, Chuchu showed her pals that life was best enjoyed together. With each wag of her tail and every goofy antic, she created a community where every dog, regardless of their quirks, could find their place in a friend to share the adventure. Chasing squirrels, a Frenchie's dream. Chuchu, the Frenchie, woke up one sunny morning with a sparkle in her eye and a twitch in her tail. Today she had one mission: to chase squirrels. With her green collar jingling and the light on her pendant shining bright, she bounded out of the house, ready to take on the world. As soon as she stepped into the park, her ears perked up at the sound of rustling leaves. Those sneaky little squirrels were plotting their escape, and Chuchu was determined to catch one, at least in her dreams. With her short legs pumping and her little body wiggling, Chuchu raced towards the nearest tree where a group of squirrels was munching on acorns. "Hey, you furry fiends," she barked, her voice echoing like a tiny gangster on a mission. The squirrels, of course, just flicked their bushy tails and scampered up the tree, leaving Chuchu to huff and puff below. Why do they always have to be so speedy, she wondered, panting dramatically. But this didn't deter her. In fact, it only fueled her Frenchie spirit. Suddenly, her friend Bella the beagle trotted over, her ears flapping in the wind. "What's going on, Chuchu? Are you trying to catch those squirrels again?" she asked, giggling. Chuchu rolled her eyes, her ears flopping in frustration. "Of course, but why do they have to be so quick? I swear they're training for the Squirrel Olympics," Chuchu declared, her snout scrunching up in determination. Bella laughed and joined her, both of them plotting their next move. Together, they devised a plan involving a lot of barking, some dramatic leaps, and a few comical fails that left them rolling on the grass. As the day went on, Chuchu's antics caught the attention of other dogs in the park. They all gathered to watch the show. A little Frenchie barking her heart out and chasing shadows. "Look at her go!" One of the poodles yipped. She's like a chubby tornado. Chuchu couldn't help but puff out her chest with pride, even if it was true that her running style looked a bit more like an enthusiastic waddle. But in her mind, she was a majestic hunter, and nothing could ruin that image, not even the occasional tumble or the need for a diaper break. In the end, though she didn't catch any squirrels, Chuchu didn't mind. She had her friends, the laughter, and the joy of the chase. "Next time, I'll be faster," she declared, her tail wagging fiercely. And as the sun began to set, painting the park in golden hues, Chuchu lay down in the grass, dreaming of her next big adventure. After all, every day in the park was a chance to have fun, be silly, and most importantly, be a Frenchie with a big heart and even bigger dreams. Chapter 3. Chuchu's Funniest Moments, Ear Movements and Barking Shenanigans. Chuchu the Frenchie was a superstar at the dog park, and no one could deny it. With her shiny black coat and a glimmering green collar that sparkled like a disco ball, she was the belle of the ball. But let's not forget about those ears. Whenever someone new approached, her ears would perk up like radar dishes, swiveling in all directions as if trying to catch every sound. You could almost hear her thoughts: is that a squirrel, a new friend, or, heaven forbid, the treat lady? Chuchu's ear movements were the highlight of her performances, and she made sure everyone was watching. Of course, Chuchu loved to bark, and boy did she have a lot to say. Her barks could be heard echoing through the park like a miniature thunderstorm. When she spotted a new dog approaching her favorite food bowl, her barks transformed into a hilarious symphony of growls and howls that made the other dogs raise their eyebrows in disbelief. "Chuchu, the gangster," they would whisper among themselves, chuckling at her fierce protectiveness. It was all in good fun, though. She just wanted to make sure her treats were safe from nosy noses. As much as Chuchu enjoyed barking, she had her moments of temperamental drama. One minute she was chasing squirrels with the grace of a ballet dancer, and the next, she was throwing an Oscar-worthy tantrum if someone dared to come near her food. You could see the wheels turning in her little Frenchie brain as she plotted her comeback. Would she bark louder? Would she give the puppy dog eyes? Chuchu never quite knew, but she sure had everyone giggling as they watched her antics unfold. With all her shenanigans, Chuchu also had to deal with a little something called incontinence. Yes, the glamorous life of a French bulldog sometimes came with a not-so-glamorous side. But did that stop her? Not a chance. She wore her diapers like a true fashionista, strutting around the park as if she had just stepped off a runway. "What's a little diaper between friends?" she seemed to say, her ears flopping in rhythm with her proud waddle. Her confidence was contagious, turning her tiny mishaps into moments of laughter for her friends. Chuchu's adventures were never just about her. They were about the friendship she built in the park. Every bark, every ear twitch, and every hilarious outburst added to the tales shared among her dog park pals. They all knew that behind the barks and the occasional diaper drama was a heart full of love for life and laughter. Chuchu the Frenchie may have been a little tempestuous, but she was also a bundle of joy, reminding everyone that sometimes it's the quirkiest pups that bring the most joy to our lives. The Great Food Heist. Chuchu the Frenchie was having the time of her life at the dog park, surrounded by her furry pals. The sun was shining, and the park was alive with wagging tails and happy barks. But little did Chuchu know, a grand adventure was about to unfold. A heist that would go down in dog park history. With her green collar glimmering in the sunlight and her big ears perked up, she noticed something unusual. The humans had brought an enormous picnic basket filled with delicious treats that made her mouth water. This was no ordinary feast. This was the great food heist waiting to happen. Chuchu's eyes sparkled with mischief as she rallied her friends. There was Max the golden retriever, who was always up for a challenge, and Bella the feisty chihuahua, who never backed down from a good plan. "Listen up, team," Chuchu barked, her voice booming like a miniature gangster. "We're going to swipe that picnic basket before those humans even know what hit them." With her ears twitching in excitement, she outlined the plan. Max would distract the humans with his charming antics, while Bella and Chuchu would make a stealthy approach to the basket. As the plan unfolded, Max put on his best puppy dog eyes and started to perform tricks, rolling over and wagging his tail like a pro. Meanwhile, Chuchu and Bella stealthily crept toward the basket, their hearts racing. Just as they were about to make their move, Chuchu felt a familiar urge. Oh no, she had to pee. But being the determined Frenchie she was, she growled softly to herself. "Not now, Chuchu. Focus on the heist." Bella giggled. "You can do it. Just don't let the humans catch you." With a deep breath and her ears flopping in excitement, Chuchu leaped toward the basket. Just then, the humans turned around. "Hey, what's going on?" one of them exclaimed, pointing at the two mischievous pups. Without missing a beat, Chuchu barked her loudest, most intimidating bark. The humans were startled, and for a moment, they looked like they were about to bolt. Seizing the opportunity, Bella grabbed a sandwich and Chuchu snatched a donut, their tails wagging in victory as they dashed away like true food bandits. As they celebrated their spoils behind a bush, Chuchu couldn't help but laugh. I might be a little gangster when it comes to my food, but we pulled off the greatest heist ever. Max joined in, wagging his tail, while Bella munched on her prize. Chuchu felt a rush of happiness, surrounded by her friends, enjoying the spoils of their hilarious adventure. They may have been a bit naughty, but in the world of Chuchu and her pals, every day was a chance for laughter, fun, and of course, a little bit of trouble. Chuchu the gangster, barking for treats. Chuchu the Frenchie strutted around the dog park with all the swagger of a tiny gangster. With her shiny black coat glistening in the sun and her signature green collar bouncing with each step, she was the queen of the playground. Chuchu loved to bark. Oh boy, did she love to bark. When she spotted a friend, or even a squirrel, her ears perked up, twitching like they had a mind of their own, and she let out a bellow that could rival a fierce lion. "Watch out, everyone! Chuchu's on the case!" Her barking seemed to say as she trotted around, demanding treats like a true diva. Her friends knew that Chuchu had a soft spot for snacks, especially when they came from her favorite human, Timmy. With a mischievous glint in her eyes, she would position herself right in front of him, her tiny paws planted firmly on the ground. "Bark, bark, treats, please!" The other dogs watched in awe as Chuchu transformed into a furry negotiator, her playful growls echoing through the park. Timmy would chuckle and toss her a biscuit, but Chuchu's appetite was insatiable. She had a reputation to uphold after all, and no treat was safe when she was around. But her temperament could shift faster than a squirrel could scurry up a tree. If anyone dared to inch too close to her food bowl, Chuchu would unleash a bark so loud and fierce that it sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest pups. "Hey you! Back off, this is my turf," she seemed to bark, her tiny body shaking with intensity. The other dogs affectionately dubbed her Chuchu the Gangster, a title she wore with pride, even if it meant wearing a diaper during her occasional slip-ups. After all, what's a little fashion faux pas when you're the boss of the dog park? Despite her tough exterior, Chuchu had a heart of gold and a knack for making her friends laugh. Whether she was chasing after a wayward squirrel or doing her hilarious dance when it was time for her diaper change, she brought joy to everyone around her. Her antics were legendary, and soon, word spread about the funny black Frenchie who ruled the park with her bark and charm. Kids and adults alike would gather, eager to witness the latest Chuchu show, where every bark was met with giggles and every playful leap was cheered on. Chuchu the Gangster reminded everyone that life is a little better with humor and friendship. Even when she faced her own challenges, like managing her unique health condition, she never let it dampen her spirit. With a wag of her tail and a bark that echoed like a battle cry, she showed that being a little different only added to her charm. So the next time you're at the dog park and hear a mighty bark, don't be surprised if it's Chuchu, the funniest and most lovable gangster on four paws, barking for treats and bringing joy to all her friends. Chapter 4. Life with a Temperamental Frenchie. Understanding Chuchu's Mood Swings. Chuchu, our delightful black Frenchie, is known for her whimsical personality and her knack for turning a simple day at the park into a full-blown comedy show. But just like any star performer, she has her ups and downs. One moment she's zooming around chasing squirrels, her green collar jingling like a tiny bell, and the next, she's giving you the side-eye, barking fiercely at anyone who dares approach her food bowl. It's like living with a furry diva who has a flair for the dramatic. Understanding Chuchu's mood swings is all part of the adventure, and trust me, it's a wild ride. When Chuchu's in a good mood, she's the life of the party. Her ears perk up the moment she senses a friend in the distance, and her tail wags like a helicopter rotor. She'll race to greet her pals, performing playful leaps that could make any gymnast jealous. But beware if you accidentally interrupt her during snack time. Chuchu's bark can reach levels that would make even the toughest gangsters sit up and take notice. It's her way of saying, "Back off, buddy. This food is mine." And honestly, who can blame her? Those treats are worth barking about. The thing about Chuchu is that her mood can change as quickly as a squirrel can dart up a tree. One minute she's the queen of the park, and the next she's a grumpy little potato. Some days the world feels too big, and her little heart isn't ready for all the commotion. It's during these moments that she might retreat to her favorite spot, her head resting on her paws, giving everyone the ultimate do not disturb sign. If you see her like this, just let her be. She's recharging her adorable batteries for the next round of playtime. Chuchu's unique health condition adds another layer to her mood swings. Sometimes she needs to wear her fashionable diapers, which she struts around in like they're the latest runway trend. Sure, it's a little embarrassing for her, but she handles it like the pro she is. This makes her even more lovable as she navigates life with humor and grace. We've learned that even when things get a little messy, it's all part of the adventure. After all, every superhero has their quirks, and Chuchu is no exception. Living with Chuchu means embracing the roller coaster of her moods. Each day presents a new opportunity to understand her better and to laugh at the little things she does, whether she's barking like a gangster or showing off her stylish diaper. She reminds us that life is too short to take too seriously. So, next time you see Chuchu's ears perk up or hear her mighty bark, remember that it's just Chuchu being her fabulous self, adding a sprinkle of joy and humor to our lives. Training tips for our diva. Training Chuchu, our fabulous Frenchie, is a journey filled with love, laughter, and a sprinkle of chaos. As a diva with a flair for the dramatic, she has her own unique personality that makes training an adventure. First things first, every diva deserves a proper introduction. When Chuchu's ears perk up at the sound of someone entering the room, it's like a scene from a movie where the star makes her grand entrance. Use this to your advantage. When visitors come by, practice her sit and stay commands. Just imagine how impressed your friends will be when they see Chuchu doing her best good girl impression before she gets to show off her playful side. Remember, Chuchu may be a funny little diva, but she can also be quite the handful, especially when it comes to her food. If you see her barking like a gangster when someone approaches her bowl, it's time to introduce a training game called Leave It. This game teaches her that sometimes waiting for a treat is part of the fun. You can start by holding a treat in your hand and saying leave it while covering the treat. When she calms down, reward her with a different treat. With a little patience and lots of giggles, Chuchu will learn that good things come to those who wait, even if she thinks she's the queen of the castle. Chuchu loves her adventures at the dog park, and this is the perfect setting for socialization and training. Take a handful of her favorite toys and practice commands while she's excited and ready to run. When she's chasing squirrels, because let's be honest, that's her Olympic sport, call her back to you. If she listens, shower her with praise and maybe even a squeaky toy. If she ignores you, just remember that even a diva has her moments. Use those moments as an opportunity to practice patience and make it a fun challenge. Chuchu will learn that listening means more playtime and fewer squirrel chases that end with her getting all tangled up. Fashion matters to our diva as much as training does. Chuchu struts around in her stylish green collar with a light pendant, and that's not just for show, it's a safety feature too. When training outdoors, especially in low-light conditions, make sure she's visible. Use fun accessories to make training sessions feel special. Try a cute bandana or a fun hat during practice. This will not only make Chuchu feel fabulous, but will also keep her motivated to show off her best behavior. After all, who wouldn't want to impress in the latest doggy fashion? Lastly, remember that training is an ongoing adventure. Chuchu's little quirks, like her occasional accidents, are just part of her charm. Embrace those moments with humor and creativity. Diapers might not be the most glamorous part of dog ownership, but they're just another accessory in Chuchu's fashionable life. Celebrate her uniqueness and make your training sessions filled with laughter and joy. With love, patience, and a few funny stories along the way, you and Chuchu will conquer every challenge together, ensuring that every day is another fabulous adventure in the dog park. The art of negotiating treats. Chuchu the Frenchie had a knack for turning treat negotiations into an art form. Picture this, a sunny day at the dog park where Chuchu, with her shiny green collar and a light that twinkled like a disco ball, strutted her stuff. Her ears perked up as she spotted potential treat givers, a group of kids tossing a frisbee nearby. In her mind, she was already crafting a strategy. She knew that being adorable was just the beginning. She'd wiggle her butt, flash her puppy dog eyes, and maybe let out a little bark that sounded suspiciously like treat, please. It was a fine balance between cute and commanding, and Chuchu was the queen of it. As Chuchu approached the treat brigade, she had to assess her competition. There were a couple of golden retrievers playing nice, wagging their tails and giving the I'm so friendly vibe. But Chuchu had something they didn't, her temperamental charm. With a dramatic huff and a few well-timed barks, she made it clear that she was the boss of this park and that any treats in sight should rightfully belong to her. Do they know who I am? She thought, imagining her royal lineage as the great negotiator of dog treats. With her signature move, the I'm adorable but also a little gangster look, she had them wrapped around her little paw in no time. Once the treats started flying, Chuchu had to keep her cool. She had learned the hard way that barking too loudly could scare away potential snackers. and no one wanted to be that dog. So she'd take a deep breath, channel her inner zen, and flash a smile that could melt even the sternest of hearts. Her friends would often remind her, "Chuchu, it's all about the charm." But of course, there were moments when she couldn't help herself. If someone tried to take her food, the gangster bark would come out, and suddenly every dog in the park would look over, wondering who was starting a ruckus. Chuchu knew how to command attention, and she loved it. In the midst of her treat negotiations, Chuchu also had to deal with her unique situation. Sometimes she had to wear diapers. This didn't stop her from being the life of the party, but it did add an interesting twist to her tactics. "Look at me, I'm adorable, and I'm fashionable," she thought as she strutted around with her green collar and stylish diaper. Negotiating treats while managing her fashion statements made her feel like a superstar. "If they see me in this, they'll think I'm the cutest pup ever. Who wouldn't want to give me treats?" she mused. And she was right. Her confidence radiated even if it came with a little extra fluff. Finally, the art of negotiating treats wasn't just about getting snacks, it was about building friendships. Chuchu loved meeting new dogs and their humans. Each successful negotiation was a chance to bond, share laughter, and maybe even play a game of chase. After all, who could resist a Frenchie with the green collar sparkling in the sun? Chuchu knew that being funny and charming was just as important as barking loudly when it came to making friends. And so, with a belly full of treats and a heart full of joy, Chuchu the Frenchie continued her adventures, proving that the art of negotiating treats was not just about the snacks, but also about the love and laughter shared along the way. Chapter 5. Health and Happiness. Chuchu's Unique Health Journey. Chuchu the Frenchie was no ordinary dog. She was a pint-sized bundle of joy, with a flair for the dramatic. With her glossy black coat and a green collar that sparkled like the stars, she strutted through the dog park as if it were her runway. Her ears perked up at the slightest sound, always ready to spring into action at the sight of another dog or a squirrel. However, Chuchu had a little secret that made her unique. She sometimes had trouble with her bladder. Yes, our feisty Frenchie was incontinent. You could say she had a bit of a leaky personality, but she never let that dampen her spirits. Despite her occasional mishaps, Chuchu approached life with a comedic twist. Imagine a French bulldog in a diaper, chasing squirrels and barking like a gangster. That's right, when Chuchu was on a squirrel chase, she transformed from a sweet little pup into a fierce protector of her territory. Her friends at the park would often look at her in awe, wondering if she was less of a dog and more of a tiny, furry superhero. And when she barked, oh boy, it was as if the whole park knew Chuchu was on the scene, ready to defend her food from anyone brave enough to approach. Chuchu's health journey wasn't just about managing her incontinence. It was a comedy of errors. There were days when her diapers were more fashionable than the latest pet trends. She rocked those diapers with confidence, turning heads and earning giggles from her human companions. They even started referring to her as the diaper diva. Chuchu didn't care. She was too busy making friends and bringing laughter to everyone she met. When she wasn't busy causing a ruckus, she was busy being the life of the party, reminding everyone that humor was the best medicine. Training Chuchu was an adventure in itself. With her temperamental personality, she often barked her head off if someone dared to approach her food bowl. Her humans quickly learned that a little humor and plenty of treats went a long way in training their diva dog. The key was to embrace her quirky behavior and turn her antics into a game. Who can make Chuchu sit without barking became a fun challenge for her friends at the park. They soon discovered that laughter was the best way to manage her spirited nature. Through all her ups and downs, Chuchu taught everyone in the park a valuable lesson about friendship and acceptance. Her health journey was filled with laughter, love, and a touch of chaos, which made her all the more endearing. Chuchu's infectious spirit and humorous antics brought people together, proving that even a dog with a unique health condition could live life to the fullest. With every chase, bark, and paw print left in the grass, Chuchu reminded her friends that happiness is found in embracing our quirks and celebrating the joy of simply being ourselves. Diapers and daring adventures. Chuchu, the Frenchie, was not your average dog. She was a pint-sized bundle of joy with a flair for the dramatic. Sporting her signature green collar, complete with a shiny light pendant, she strutted around the park like she owned the place. But there was one little quirk about Chuchu that set her apart from the rest of the pooches: her occasional need for diapers. While she gallivanted around chasing squirrels and barking at anyone who dared to approach her food, there would be moments when a sneaky little accident would happen. The other dogs would raise their eyebrows, and Chuchu would just give them a cheeky grin, as if to say, "What's a little diaper between friends?" Her daring adventures often included creative ways to hide her diaper, like pretending it was a fashionable accessory. With a bark that could rival a fire truck, Chuchu would announce her arrival at the dog park, making sure everyone knew she was there, even if they did get a whiff of her not-so-glamorous secret. "Hey, look at me! I'm not just a dog, I'm a daring diaper diva," she'd seem to say as she chased after her pals, her ears flopping in the wind. It was as if she was on a mission to prove that being a little different didn't mean you couldn't have a lot of fun. As Chuchu ran through the park, her friends would join in on the hilarity, often mocking her with exaggerated waddle imitations. They would pretend to trip over their own paws, all while Chuchu kept her eyes on the prize, squirrels. She would leap through the air, her diaper flapping like a superhero's cape, and the whole park would erupt in laughter. "Look at Chuchu go," her friends would cheer. "She's the only dog who can turn a chase into a comedy show." It was moments like these that reminded everyone that laughter was the best medicine, even for a Frenchie with a funky fashion statement. Of course, there were times when Chuchu's temperamental side would make an appearance, especially when it came to her food. If anyone dared to come close while she was munching on her kibble, she would unleash a bark so fierce that passers-by would chuckle and say, "There she goes again, our little gangster." But despite those moments of diva drama, her friends understood her quirks. They knew that beneath the tough exterior was a lovable Frenchie who just wanted to enjoy life, diapers and all. Chuchu's adventures taught everyone at the park an important lesson. It's okay to be different, and it's even better to embrace those differences with a sense of humor. From her stylish diaper escapades to her fierce food protection antics, she showed that every dog has a story worth telling. And as she continued to chase squirrels and make her friends laugh, Chuchu reminded everyone that life was an adventure, and sometimes a little messiness just made it more memorable. So here's to Chuchu, the diaper-wearing daredevil who turned the dog park into her stage, proving that you can be fabulous no matter what, keeping Chuchu healthy and happy. Chuchu, the Frenchie, is not just any dog. She's a vibrant ball of fur and energy who loves to explore the world around her. Keeping Chuchu healthy and happy is a full-time job, but luckily, it comes with plenty of laughs. First things first, Chuchu needs her daily dose of exercise. You see, she has a nose for adventure, especially when it comes to chasing those sneaky squirrels in the park. Every time she spots one, her ears perk up and wiggle like they're doing a little dance, and off she goes. Remember, a tired Chuchu is a happy Chuchu, so lace up those sneakers and get ready for some fun-filled runs. But what about Chuchu's unique health needs? This sassy pup sometimes has to wear diapers due to her little secret. She can be a bit incontinent. Imagine a tough, barking gangster wearing a stylish green collar with a light pendant, strutting around in a diaper. It's a sight that guarantees a good chuckle. To keep her health in check, it's crucial to make regular vet visits. These checkups help ensure that Chuchu remains the life of the party and can continue to show off her funny side without any worries. And who knows, maybe the vet will have a few funny stories of their own to share. When it comes to Chuchu's temperamental side, training is key. Sometimes her fierce bark can startle even the bravest of souls. After all, she does have a reputation to uphold. Teaching Chuchu to share her food without barking like a gangsta can be a hilarious challenge. Picture her little face, all puffy and serious, as she rehearses her best "I'm not a scary dog" look while you practice the art of distraction with tasty treats. With patience and a sprinkle of humor, you'll turn her food growls into gentle reminders that sharing is caring. A huge part of keeping Chuchu happy is her social life. This Frenchie has a whole gang of friends at the dog park, and she loves to mingle. Taking her to dog-friendly parks means plenty of tail-wagging fun, where she can play, sniff, and show off her fashionable green collar. Chuchu believes that every day is an opportunity for a new adventure, and making friends is a big part of that. Plus, it's always entertaining to watch her strut her stuff among her furry pals, barking her greetings and occasionally getting into playful tussles that leave everyone in stitches. Lastly, don't forget the importance of safety and emergency preparedness. Even the funniest pups can find themselves in tricky situations. Having a plan in place means you can keep that laughter going, no matter what. Remember to pack Chuchu's essentials, water, treats, and her favorite squeaky toy, before heading out. You never know when a squirrel might appear or when Chuchu might decide to take an unexpected detour. Keeping her safe ensures that the adventures can continue, filled with love, laughter, and of course a few silly moments that make every day with Chuchu a joy. Chapter 6. Fashion-Forward Frenchie. Chuchu's stylish outfits. Chuchu strutted into the dog park like she was on a runway, her green collar sparkling with a tiny light pendant that twinkled as she pranced. With her shiny black fur gleaming in the sunlight, she was the embodiment of canine fashion. It was as if she had a wardrobe full of outfits just waiting for the right occasion, whether it was a sunny day of chasing squirrels or a casual stroll with her pals. Chuchu loved to make an entrance, and she did it with flair, often drawing attention from the other dogs and their humans alike. When Chuchu was around, it was hard not to notice her fabulous style. Every now and then, Chuchu would sport a new accessory that would have the other dogs barking in approval. From a stylish bandana that she wore with pride to a ridiculous pair of sunglasses that made her look like a rock star, Chuchu was always ready to turn heads. Of course, her friends, the other dogs, had their own unique styles too, but none could rival Chuchu's combination of pizzazz and personality. With her temperamental nature, she often barked at any dog that dared to challenge her fashion sense, leaving everyone in stitches. "Watch out, it's the dog park's very own fashionista," they would joke. When it came to practicality, Chuchu was no slouch either. Sometimes, she had to don her fashionable diaper, which was a sight to behold. You see, Chuchu had her quirks. She was a little incontinent, which meant that her outfits had to be both stylish and functional. But instead of feeling embarrassed, she wore her diaper like a badge of honor, often pairing it with a cute top that matched her collar. Her friends thought it was hilarious, and they would often tease her saying, "Chuchu, you're the only dog who can pull off a diaper and still look fabulous." Chuchu would just give them a cheeky bark in response. Chuchu also had a talent for turning the most mundane walks into a fashion show. Whether she was chasing squirrels or sprinting after her friends, she always managed to look good doing it. Her ears would perk up and flop down in rhythm with her movements, almost as if they were part of her ensemble. And when someone approached her food bowl, her barking would turn into a comedic performance, convincing everyone around that they were witnessing a canine diva defending her culinary kingdom. "That's right, back off. This is haute cuisine," her bark seemed to declare. Through all her adventures, Chuchu taught everyone that style isn't just about looking good, it's about having fun and being yourself. With a personality as big as her love for life, she reminded her friends that laughter and creativity could turn any day into a memorable adventure. Whether she was dressed for a gala or just hanging out in the park, Chuchu's outfits were a reflection of her vibrant spirit. Life was too short to wear boring clothes, and Chuchu was here to prove it, one fashionable bark at a time. Must-have accessories for your pup. Every pup deserves a little flair, and Chuchu the Frenchie is no exception. With her signature green collar that lights up like a disco ball, she struts through the dog park like she owns the place. It's not just any collar, it's a beacon of fabulousness that alerts everyone to her royal presence. A glowing accessory not only keeps her stylish, but also helps her friends spot her during those wild squirrel-to-chasing escapades. Trust us, when you've got a temperamental diva on your hands, the last thing you want is for her to be lost in the bushes. Another must-have accessory for Chuchu is her snazzy doggy diaper. Yes, you heard that right. Sometimes, even the most glamorous Frenchies have to deal with potty problems. Chuchu's diaper is not just functional, it comes in a variety of colors that match her vibrant personality. Imagine her zooming around the park, tail wagging, with a diaper that looks like a fashion statement rather than a necessity. It's all about owning your uniqueness, and Chuchu does it with a flair that makes her a trendsetter among her furry friends. Let's not forget about the all-important leash. Chuchu's leash is not just any ordinary leash, it's a multifunctional masterpiece. Equipped with a built-in treat pouch, it ensures that Chuchu is always ready for a snack attack after a vigorous run. Plus, it has a sturdy clip that secures her during those moments when she decides that the squirrel in the tree is her mortal enemy. With a leash like this, Chuchu can go from 0 to gangster mode in seconds, barking fiercely at anyone who dares to block her path to snack heaven. For the ultimate in doggy fashion, Chuchu has a collection of bandanas that would make any fashionista jealous. From polka dots to floral patterns, each bandana tells a story of her adventures. They are perfect for those days when she's feeling a bit more sassy and wants to show off her personality. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want to see Chuchu chasing squirrels in a bright pink bandana? It's all about the style, and Chuchu knows how to bring the drama, even in the most mundane of activities. Lastly, we can't overlook the importance of a comfy dog bed for our little diva. After a long day of barking at mailmen and making new friends, Chuchu needs a cozy spot to recharge her batteries. Her bed is adorned with plush toys that she rules over like a queen in her castle. And while she may be a little temperamental at times, nothing beats the moment when she curls up in her bed, snoring softly, looking every bit the gangster she is. Accessories may be fun, but at the end of the day, it's all about keeping our furry friends happy and healthy. The importance of fashion in dog culture. Fashion isn't just for humans, it's a way for dogs to strut their stuff and show off their unique personalities. Chuchu, our fabulous Frenchie, is a prime example of how stylish pups can make a statement. With her green collar that has a light pendant, she turns heads at the dog park. Imagine her trotting around, her ears flopping with excitement every time a new friend arrives, looking like the star of a pet fashion runway. Whether it's a snazzy sweater for the chilly days or a fun bow tie for a special occasion, Chuchu knows that dressing up is all about expressing who you are, just like any fashionable human would. Not only does fashion allow Chuchu to showcase her personality, but it also builds her social circle. When she struts in her latest outfit, other dogs can't help but notice. They wag their tails and bark in excitement, eager to compliment her style. Chuchu has a knack for attracting attention, and she loves it. After all, what's a dog without a few admirers? Her outfits spark conversations among the dog owners too, creating a fun atmosphere where friendships blossom. It's like a mini fashion show every time she enters the park. Let's not forget that fashion has practical benefits as well. Chuchu might be a little temperamental when it comes to her food, barking like a tiny gangster if anyone dares to approach her bowl, but her stylish attire also helps her stay comfortable. With the right outfits, she can chase squirrels with ease and stay warm on those brisk walks. Plus, her cute diapers, yes, even fashion has a functional side, keep her feeling secure, allowing her to run around without a care in the world. Who says you can't be fashionable and functional at the same time? Chuchu's love for fashion also teaches her friends that it's okay to be different. Each dog has its own style, whether it's the fluffy fur of a Pomeranian or the sleek coat of a Greyhound. Everyone brings something unique to the table, and Chuchu reminds her pals that confidence comes from embracing what makes you special. After all, if a dog can rock a diaper and a fabulous collar while chasing squirrels, then anyone can wear anything with pride. Lastly, the humor in Chuchu's fashion adventures brings joy to everyone around her. Whether she's prancing about in a tutu or getting tangled in a costume, her antics lighten the mood. Laughter is the best accessory after all. Whenever she's dressed up, you can bet that all the humans and dogs are sharing giggles and smiles. Chuchu knows that life is too short to be taken seriously. It's all about having fun, making memories, and sometimes barking like a gangster because someone dared to come near her precious food. Fashion in dog culture isn't just about looking good. It's about building friendships, feeling confident, and having a good laugh along the way. Chapter 7: Outdoor Fun and Safety. Exploring dog-friendly parks. Chuchu the Frenchie was no ordinary dog. She was a pint-sized bundle of personality with a flair for drama and a heart full of adventure. Every weekend, she would wag her little tail in anticipation of her favorite activity, exploring dog-friendly parks. With her green collar shining and her ears perking up at every sound, Chuchu was ready to take on the world, or at least the nearest park. It was a place where she could run, chase squirrels, and socialize with other dogs, all while making sure everyone knew she was the star of the show. As soon as Chuchu arrived at the park, her nose would twitch with excitement. The scent of other dogs, fresh grass, and snacks from picnicking humans filled the air. With a bark that could rival a gangster's shout, she would announce her presence to everyone. "Here I am," she seemed to say, as her plump little body bounced towards the nearest group of dogs. It was as if she were the mayor of Dog Park City, shaking paws and enjoying the spotlight while her friends cheered her on. Sure, she might have been a little temperamental when it came to sharing her treats, but that just added to her charm. Chuchu loved to chase squirrels, but let's be honest, those bushy-tailed creatures were practically Olympic athletes. Every time Chuchu spotted one, her ears would flop into action, and she would take off like a miniature rocket. Of course, she never caught any squirrels, which only fueled her determination to try again. "Next time, I'll get you," she would bark, panting heavily as she stopped to catch her breath. Her friends would roll their eyes, knowing that the squirrels were safe, at least for today. Watching Chuchu's antics was like seeing a dog version of a cartoon, full of hilarious twists and turns. The park wasn't just about running and barking. It was also a hub for Chuchu's social life. She had a whole crew of furry friends who adored her spirited personality. They would gather to play games like fetch, follow the leader, and even a very serious round of who can bark the loudest. Chuchu usually won that one, of course, earning her the nickname the Dog Park Gangster. Her friends would laugh, knowing she meant business when it came to food, or when she was just having a particularly sassy day. These moments solidified their bonds, proving that, in the world of dogs, friendship was as important as a good nap in the sun. Even though Chuchu had her challenges, like the occasional need for diapers, her joyful spirit never faded. She owned her quirks with a sense of humor that made everyone around her giggle. After all, who wouldn't find it funny when a little Frenchie strutted about, wearing a diaper like it was the latest fashion trend? Chuchu showed everyone that even with a few bumps along the way, life at the dog park was meant to be fun, silly, and full of laughter. So, the next time you visit a dog-friendly park, remember to channel your inner Chuchu, embrace the chaos, make new friends, and never forget to chase those squirrels. Fun activities for dogs and owners. Chuchu the Frenchie is not just any dog. She's a bundle of joy wrapped in black fur, ready to take on the world with her quirky personality. For kids and young adults looking to have some fun with their furry friends, there's a whole universe of adventures waiting at the dog park. Imagine this, you and Chuchu, sporting her bright green collar that gleams with a little light, perfect for nighttime escapades. With her ears perked up and twitching at the slightest sound, Chuchu is always on high alert for her next big adventure. Whether it's chasing squirrels or making new friends, every day feels like a hilarious episode of Chuchu's greatest hits. One of Chuchu's favorite activities is the classic game of fetch. While some dogs will return a ball like a pro, Chuchu prefers to spice it up a bit. She'll sprint after the ball, grab it, and then, just as you're about to celebrate, she turns around and races off to show her pals. Watching her strut around with the ball in her mouth, tail wagging like a helicopter, is enough to make anyone laugh. But beware, if you get too close to her food bowl, her barks can echo through the park, earning her the title of gangster among fellow dog owners. You might find yourself chuckling as she tries to guard her kibble like it's the last piece of pizza at a party. Then there's the joy of dressing Chuchu up in the latest pet fashion. With her green collar and various outfits, she struts her stuff like a runway model. Sometimes she wears a tutu that makes her look like a fancy ballerina, and other times she dons a superhero cape, ready to save the day. Kids can join in the fun by creating DIY accessories for their pets. Who wouldn't want to see Chuchu sporting a goofy hat or a pair of sunglasses? The laughter that ensues is priceless, and you never know when her next runway show will take place, complete with dramatic ear movements that add to the comedy. For those days when Chuchu's temperamental side kicks in, it's important to have some training tips up your sleeve. Teaching her commands like, leave it, can be a game of its own. Picture this, you hold a treat and say, leave it, while Chuchu stares at you with her big, expressive eyes, clearly debating whether to listen or to unleash her inner diva. The laughter that comes from her stubbornness makes the training sessions entertaining. Plus, when she finally gets it right, perhaps after a few goofy attempts, it feels like a monumental victory for both dog and owner. Lastly, nothing beats a day at the dog park, where Chuchu can socialize with her furry friends. Chuchu knows how to charm her way into the hearts of other dogs and their owners. With her funny antics and energetic spirit, she creates a network of canine buddies who share in the laughter and fun. From playful wrestling matches to synchronized squirrel chasing, these adventures are the stuff of legends. So grab your leash, put on some comfy shoes, and get ready to join Chuchu on a roller coaster of humor and joy. Because every day spent with her is an adventure waiting to happen. Pet safety, keeping Chuchu safe. Pet safety is super important, especially for a fabulous Frenchie like Chuchu. Picture this Chuchu, with her shiny black coat and that adorable green collar that lights up, zooming around the park like a speedy little rocket. But wait! Before she takes off to chase squirrels or show off her impressive bark that has earned her the nickname Gangster, it's vital to keep her safe and sound. After all, we want her adventures to be filled with laughter, not mishaps. First things first, let's talk about the dog park. It's a magical place where Chuchu can meet her many friends, from fluffy golden retrievers to tiny dachshunds. But, just like you wouldn't dive headfirst into a pool without checking for water, it's important to keep an eye on Chuchu and her furry buddies. Make sure the park is fenced properly, with no sneaky gaps for Chuchu to escape and start her own squirrel-chasing business. And don't forget to watch out for those overly enthusiastic dogs who might mistake Chuchu's fancy collar as a new chew toy. Now, let's address Chuchu's temperamental side. You see, when someone approaches her food bowl, she turns into a barking machine. It's like she's auditioning for a role in a gangster movie. To keep things peaceful, training is key. Teaching Chuchu basic commands can help manage her barking and make her the star of the dog park, not the drama queen. Positive reinforcement works wonders. Every time she listens, shower her with treats. Not too many though, or she might have to wear that diaper more often than usual. Speaking of diapers, yes, Chuchu has her unique health needs. Being a dog mom or dad means being prepared for anything, including the occasional diaper emergency. Always carry some extra supplies when you're out and about. If Chuchu has a little accident, just remember, it's part of her charm. With humor and a quick cleanup, you can turn a potentially embarrassing moment into a funny story to share with friends. Who wouldn't laugh at a Frenchie in a diaper? Lastly, let's not forget the importance of having a pet safety plan. Whether it's knowing where the nearest vet is or having a first aid kit handy, being prepared can save the day. Chuchu's adventures should be all about fun, chasing squirrels and making new friends, not worrying about what could go wrong. So, equip yourself with knowledge and supplies, and get ready for a hilariously safe time at the park with Chuchu, the Frenchie who steals the show and everyone's heart. Chapter 8. Building a Social Circle. Making Friends at the Dog Park. Chuchu the Frenchie strutted into the dog park like she owned the place, her green collar glinting in the sunlight and her ears perked up, ready for action. The moment she spotted another dog, they would perk up and wiggle with excitement. Chuchu had a knack for making friends, and she had her own unique style. Instead of the usual sniffing and tail wagging, she would zoom straight up to her potential new buddy and give them a good solid bark, a sound that had earned her the title of gangster dog among the park regulars. It was her way of saying, "Hey, let's be friends." And it always made the other dogs do a double take. One sunny afternoon, as Chuchu was plotting her next adventure by the big oak tree, she noticed a fluffy golden retriever named Max. Max was busy chasing after a squirrel, and Chuchu couldn't resist joining the fun. With a mighty leap, she bounded over, her little legs working overtime. "I'm here for the chase," she announced with a bark that echoed across the park. Max looked confused at first, but when he saw Chuchu's determination and her wiggly tail, he couldn't help but join forces. Together, they became the ultimate squirrel-chasing duo, zipping around the park, with Chuchu barking orders like a tiny, furry drill sergeant. Of course, making friends wasn't always a smooth process for Chuchu. Sometimes her temperamental side would rear its head, especially when it came to her food. One day, while enjoying a snack, a curious pug named Bella approached. Chuchu's ears perked up, and she shot Bella a look that could freeze a squirrel in its tracks. "Back off, buddy. This is my gourmet kibble," she barked fiercely. Bella, startled by the ferociousness of Chuchu's bark, took a few steps back and decided to give the feisty Frenchie some space. After all, it's always safer to make friends when food isn't involved. Despite her spicy personality, Chuchu had a way of turning her tough guy act into laughter. One particularly funny moment happened when she attempted to impress a group of dogs by attempting a daring leap off a small ledge. Instead of landing gracefully, she tumbled down in a fluffy pile of fur and barked in surprise. The other dogs erupted in laughter, and even Chuchu couldn't help but join in. With her tail wagging and a sheepish grin, she stood up, shook off the dirt, and declared, "That was just a practice run." Her humor made her an endearing friend, and soon enough, the dogs rallied around her, ready for their next adventure. As the sun began to set, Chuchu and her new crew gathered under the big oak tree, sharing stories of their day. Chuchu's antics, from her chase with Max to her hilarious fall, brought everyone together, proving that laughter was the best way to make friends. With her green collar glowing in the fading light, she knew one thing for sure: the dog park was the perfect place to build a social network filled with fun and friendship. After all, whether you were a gangster dog or a goofy retriever, everyone could find a pal among the barking chaos. Chuchu's best buddies. Chuchu, the sassy black Frenchie with a sparkle in her eye, was not just a dog, she was the life of the park. With her vibrant green collar that had a little light dangling from it, she became the unofficial traffic signal for all her friends. Whenever her ears perked up and wiggled like they had a mind of their own, it was a sure sign that someone interesting was about to enter the park. Whether it was a new dog, a curious child, or even a wayward squirrel, Chuchu was always ready to welcome them with her unique brand of charm and enthusiasm. Among Chuchu's best buddies was Max, the wise old Labrador who seemed to have seen it all. Max was the perfect foil to Chuchu's spirited antics. While she zoomed around in playful chaos, barking her head off as if she were guarding a treasure trove of chew toys, Max would lounge calmly under a shady tree, chuckling to himself. He often said Chuchu reminded him of a superhero on a mission, perhaps a bit too much of a mission. Their friendship was a delightful mix of high-energy adventures and laid-back wisdom, showing that opposites really do attract. Then there was Bella, the elegant dachshund who strutted around like she was on a fashion runway. Bella's sleek, shiny coat and perfectly coiffed ears made her the darling of the dog park, but she had a soft spot for Chuchu's goofy personality. Chuchu, with her comedic timing, would often trip over her own paws while trying to impress Bella, leaving both of them in fits of giggles. Bella would roll her eyes, but deep down she appreciated Chuchu's ability to turn any mundane day into an unforgettable escapade. Of course, Chuchu had her quirks. If someone tried to take her food, you could hear her barking like a gangster defending her turf. It was as if she transformed into a feisty protector, ready to guard her precious treats with all her might. Her friends would just laugh, knowing that behind that tough exterior, Chuchu was a sweetheart who loved sharing snacks, just as long as they didn't come too close when she was munching on her favorite bone. Despite the occasional mishap with her diapers, which she wore with a certain flair, Chuchu never let anything dampen her spirit. She was a champion of fun, love, and laughter. Whether she was chasing squirrels, making new friends, or simply being a diva in a dog park full of life, Chuchu proved that every day was an adventure waiting to happen. Her best buddies were always by her side, ready to join in on the hilarity and chaos, ensuring that the dog park was never short on joy and friendship. The role of humor in dog friendships. In the bustling dog park, where tails wag and barks echo, Chuchu the Frenchie shines like a star. With her shiny black coat and green collar that lights up like a disco ball, she struts around, making friends left and right. But what really sets Chuchu apart from the pack is her unbeatable sense of humor. You see, Chuchu believes that laughter is the best treat in the world, and she uses her comedic chops to bond with her furry pals. Whether she's chasing squirrels or rolling in the grass, her antics never fail to bring a smile to everyone's face. One sunny afternoon, as Chuchu prepared to unleash her inner comedian, she spotted her friend Max, a golden retriever with a knack for being a little too serious. Chuchu decided it was time for some laughs. She strutted over and, with a dramatic flair, pretended to trip over her own paws. Max, taken aback, couldn't help but burst into laughter, which only encouraged Chuchu to up the ante. She rolled on her back, wiggled her ears, and let out a series of hilarious barks that sounded suspiciously like a doggy version of a rap song. Before long, Max was rolling on the ground, and the other dogs joined in, creating a ripple of giggles that echoed through the park. But humor isn't just about making others laugh, it's also about overcoming challenges. Chuchu, with her sometimes temperamental personality, found that her funny side helped her cope with the tricky moments of life. When she had to wear her diaper, she would strut around like a runway model, flaunting her fashion statement to the other dogs. Instead of feeling embarrassed, she turned the situation into a comedy act, claiming she was the latest trendsetter in dog fashion. Her friends would howl with laughter, and soon they all wanted to join in the fun, experimenting with their own silly styles. Chuchu's humor also plays a crucial role when it comes to food. If someone dared to approach her bowl, she would bark with such gusto that the other dogs would joke about her being a gangster. "Watch out, or Chuchu will put you in doggy jail," they'd say, and Chuchu would play along, puffing out her chest and pretending to guard her precious kibble like a fierce protector. This playful banter not only strengthened her friendships, but also created a safe space for everyone to express their silly sides, turning the dog park into a lively comedy club where everyone was welcome. In the end, Chuchu the Frenchie teaches us that humor is a vital part of any friendship, dog or human. Whether it's through playful antics, silly fashion choices, or clever barks, laughter brings dogs closer together. So, the next time you see a dog with a light-up collar making everyone giggle, remember that behind those funny moments lies a world of friendship, understanding, and joy. Chuchu may be a little temperamental at times, but her heart is as big as her barks, and that's what makes her the funniest, most lovable dog in the park. Chapter 9. Creative Dog Parenting. Hilarious Tales of Dog Ownership. Chuchu the Frenchie is not just any dog, she's the queen of the dog park, complete with a green collar that sparkles like a disco ball when she struts her stuff. Her friends often joke that she's part superhero because her ears perk up and wiggle like crazy whenever someone approaches. You can practically see her thinking, "Oh, is that a squirrel or just another human who thinks they can resist my cuteness?" One time, a little kid ran up to pet her, and she flipped her ears so dramatically that it looked like she was trying to take off for a flight. Clearly, she believes she has the power of flight, and we're all just along for the ride. Chuchu has a special talent for turning the simplest of park visits into a comedy show. Picture this, she's chasing after squirrels that are probably plotting their escape. And in her excitement, she forgets to watch where she's going. The next thing you know, she's tumbling into a pile of leaves, emerging with twigs in her fur and a look of utter confusion on her face. Meanwhile, the squirrels are rolling on the branches, laughing their tiny tails off. It's a reminder that life with Chuchu is one big adventure, filled with unexpected twists and turns, just like her antics. Now, let's talk about Chuchu's dramatic side. When it comes to food, she channels her inner gangster. If anyone dares to approach her food bowl, they better be ready for an ear-splitting bark that echoes throughout the park. Friends have started calling her Gangster Chuchu, and honestly, we can't blame them. she has a way of making even the bravest of pups question their life choices when they hear that bark. It's like she's saying, "Back off, buddy. This is my turf, and I'm not sharing unless you've got a gourmet treat." Chuchu also has her quirks, especially when it comes to her health. Sometimes she has to wear diapers, and you can imagine the look on her face when she realizes she's just not quite as glamorous as she thinks. But even when she's feeling a little off, she manages to turn it into a funny moment. One day, she waddled over to her favorite park bench, and with her diaper on, she looked like a tiny, disgruntled old lady. Everyone couldn't help but chuckle as she plopped down, giving all the other dogs a look that clearly said, "Don't you dare judge me!" Through all the laughter and chaos, Chuchu teaches us that humor is essential in dog ownership, whether she's chasing her tail or barking down the neighborhood. She reminds her human friends to find joy in the little things. Her adventures at the park are not just about playtime. They're about building connections, sharing laughter, and embracing the quirky moments that make dog ownership truly special. Life with Chuchu is a roller coaster of hilarity, and honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way. Chuchu's mischievous adventures. Chuchu woke up one sunny Saturday morning, her little black body buzzing with excitement. Today was the day her friends, a pack of playful pups from the dog park, were gathering for their weekly adventure. As she strutted around the house, her green collar jingled with a tiny light, making her feel like the star of a puppy parade. Chuchu's ears perked up at the sound of a squirrel rustling outside. With a snort and a determined bark, she dashed towards the door, her short legs moving as fast as they could go. Who could resist a good squirrel chase, especially when you're a Frenchie with a reputation for being the funniest dog in the park? Once at the park, Chuchu was ready to unleash her mischievous side. She greeted her friends with exaggerated barks that echoed through the trees, making everyone giggle. Her best buddy, Max the Labrador, rolled his eyes playfully as Chuchu pranced around, showing off her diaper like it was the latest fashion accessory. "Look at me, I'm a stylish pup," she barked, and her friends couldn't help but laugh. Every time someone approached with a snack, her temperamental nature kicked in. "Hey, that's mine," she barked, sounding like a little gangster defending her turf. Who knew a dog could be both adorable and intimidating at the same time? As the afternoon wore on, Chuchu decided to take her antics up a notch. She spotted a group of kids playing frisbee and thought it would be the perfect opportunity for a little fun. With a mischievous glint in her eyes, she snuck up behind them and launched herself into the air, attempting to catch the frisbee mid-flight. Instead, she ended up rolling across the grass in a dramatic tumble, landing right in the middle of their game. The kids burst into laughter, and Chuchu, undeterred, wagged her tail as if to say, "I meant to do that." Her playful spirit was infectious, making everyone around her feel like they were part of her silly world. Chuchu's adventures weren't just about chasing squirrels and showing off her diaper. She also had a knack for making friends, even with the other dogs who were a bit shy. When she noticed Bella, a timid beagle, sitting alone, Chuchu trotted over with her signature swagger. "Why so glum, pup? Let's go chase some squirrels together," she barked cheerfully. Bella's ears perked up at Chuchu's enthusiasm, and soon they were racing around the park, both of them letting out happy barks that echoed through the trees. Chuchu had the magical ability to turn any frown upside down, and her friends knew that life was always better with her by their side. As the sun began to set, Chuchu returned home, tired but delighted by her day of mischief and laughter. She curled up in her favorite spot, dreaming of the adventures yet to come. With her friends waiting for the next park day and her heart full of joy, Chuchu knew that life was one big, hilarious journey. And while she might have her moments of temper and a few mishaps here and there, every day was an opportunity for fun. After all, who could resist the charm of a funny little Frenchie with a big personality and a love for life? Lessons learned from a Frenchie. Chuchu the Frenchie is not just any dog. She's a little bundle of joy wrapped in a black coat and a green collar that lights up like a disco ball at night. One of the biggest lessons learned from Chuchu is that life is meant to be lived to the fullest. Whether she's bounding through the dog park or dramatically shaking her ears when someone arrives, Chuchu teaches us that every moment is an adventure waiting to happen. Just imagine her chasing squirrels with the determination of a superhero. It's a reminder that we should all embrace our inner goofiness and run after our dreams even if they're just a little out of reach. Chuchu may have a temperamental side, especially when it comes to her food. You haven't truly experienced the sound of a Frenchie gangster until you have heard her bark at anyone who dares to come too close to her bowl. This is where the lesson of sharing comes in. Chuchu shows us that while it's okay to protect what we love, it's also important to learn how to share. After all, sharing doesn't mean you love your treats any less. Plus, making friends at the dog park is a lot easier when you have a few extra biscuits to offer. One of Chuchu's most endearing quirks is her love for fashion. With her sparkling green collar and stylish diaper, she struts around the park like she owns the place. This teaches us that it's okay to express ourselves in fun and unique ways. Chuchu proves that fashion isn't just for humans. Dogs can rock their own styles too. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want to be as fabulous as a French bulldog with a light-up collar? Her flair for fashion reminds us that confidence is key, whether you're a dog on the run or a kid heading to school. Chuchu's health condition might cause her some inconvenience, but she never lets it hold her back. Her ability to make the best out of every situation, even when wearing diapers, teaches us resilience. Life can throw challenges our way, but it's how we respond that counts. Chuchu's cheerful spirit reminds us that laughter and a positive attitude can brighten any day no matter what obstacles come our way. Plus, if Chuchu can turn a diaper into a fashion statement, we can certainly tackle our own challenges with style. Finally, the most important lesson learned from Chuchu is the value of friendship. With her many pals at the park, Chuchu embodies the essence of building social networks, whether you're a dog or a kid. Making friends is essential, and Chuchu's antics bring everyone together for a good laugh. She shows us that sometimes, all it takes to forge a new friendship is a wagging tail, a silly bark, or an invitation to chase squirrels. So let's take a page out of Chuchu's book and remember to embrace life, share our treats, wear our quirks with pride, and cherish the friends we make along the way. Chapter 10. The Joy of Being a Dog Owner. Why Chuchu Makes Life Better. Chuchu, the black Frenchie with a personality bigger than her tiny body, makes life better in ways that only a dog can. Imagine her bounding into the dog park, her little legs working overtime as her ears perk up at the sound of friends arriving. Those ears are like radar, always alert to the fun that's about to unfold. The moment she spots a familiar face, they start flapping like a pair of joyful flags. Chuchu's enthusiasm is contagious. Who wouldn't want to join in on the fun? With her green collar sparkling and her light pendant twinkling, she looks like a little superstar ready to shine. Then there's Chuchu's knack for humor. One minute she's chasing squirrels like a furry lunatic, and the next, she's dramatically barking at her food bowl as if it's the most precious treasure in the universe. You'd think she was guarding a vault filled with gold. Her bark is so fierce that other dogs take a step back, and the park visitors whisper about the gangster Frenchie. It's hard not to laugh when she throws her little temper tantrums. She might be small, but her personality takes up the entire park. Who knew a dog could turn mealtime into an action-packed comedy show? Despite her diva moments, Chuchu teaches us about resilience and acceptance. Sure, she has her health challenges, like needing to wear diapers sometimes. But does that stop her? Absolutely not. She struts around like the queen she is, making sure everyone knows that her little quirks don't define her spirit. When she runs off to chase after those elusive squirrels, you can't help but cheer for her, knowing that life is too short to let anything hold you back, even if it means wearing a diaper. Chuchu takes every situation and turns it into an adventure, showing us that laughter can be found in the most unexpected places. Chuchu's friendships at the park are another reason life feels brighter. She doesn't just play with other dogs, she builds a whole social network. Watching her interact with her pals is like seeing a mini party unfold. They engage in joyous wrestling matches and silly races, all while Chuchu ensures she's the center of attention. Her ability to connect with others reminds us of the importance of friendship and community, even if it means barking fiercely to protect her snacks. Those moments spent with friends are what make every trip to the park unforgettable. In the end, Chuchu's adventures teach us that life is about embracing our quirks, laughing at our challenges, and cherishing the moments we share with friends. Whether she's goofing around or standing her ground over her food, Chuchu brings joy and humor to our lives. Every day with her is a delightful escapade, proving that the best adventures often come with a wagging tail and a snort or two. So next time you're feeling down, just think of Chuchu and how her quirky, lovable spirit makes every day in the park a little brighter, embracing the chaos. Chuchu, the Frenchie, was no ordinary dog. She was a whirlwind of energy and chaos wrapped in a fluffy black coat. Every morning you could find her strutting around the dog park, her green collar gleaming like a trophy. With a light pendant that flickered whenever she dashed, she looked like a tiny superhero ready to take on the world. As soon as her ears perked up at the sound of approaching friends, it was as if she had a sixth sense. "Squirrel alert!" she would bark, and off she went in pursuit of her furry nemesis, leaving a cloud of dust and a few confused pups in her wake. However, embracing the chaos wasn't always easy. Chuchu had her moments when she turned into a feisty little diva. One time, a sneaky pup tried to steal her bone, and you'd think it was the end of the world. With a bark louder than a rock concert, she transformed into what her friends affectionately called Gangster Chuchu. The way her little legs stomped and her tail wagged furiously made everyone burst into laughter. It was a reminder that even the tiniest dogs can have the biggest personalities, especially when it comes to protecting their precious treats. Despite her temperamental tendencies, Chuchu's humor made her adventures unforgettable. She had a knack for turning even the simplest of outings into comedic gold, like the time she decided that a mud puddle was the perfect spot for a spa day. Rolling around and splashing mud everywhere, she emerged looking like a muddy superhero. Her friends couldn't stop laughing as they watched her strut around, proudly showing off her new fashion statement. It was moments like these that reminded everyone that life was too short to take too seriously, especially when you had a funny Frenchie leading the way. Chuchu's health challenges added a unique twist to her adventures. Sometimes she had to wear diapers, which made her look even more adorable and silly. She embraced it like a champ, strutting around the park like a fashion model on a runway. While some pups might have felt embarrassed, Chuchu wore her diapers with pride, showing everyone that it was okay to be different. Her confidence was infectious, encouraging her friends to embrace their quirks too, whether it was a bark that startled everyone or an awkward tumble during playtime. In the chaotic world of the dog park, Chuchu taught everyone an important lesson. It's okay to embrace the messiness of life. From chasing squirrels to barking at imaginary foes, each day was an adventure filled with laughter and love. With her unique blend of humor, personality, and a little bit of chaos, Chuchu reminded her friends that life is best enjoyed when you embrace every silly moment, no matter how messy it gets. After all, in the eyes of her friends, she was not just a Frenchie but a true champion of fun and laughter. Cherishing every moment with your pup. Every day with Chuchu, the Frenchie is like an adventure filled with giggles and tail wags. From the moment she bounds out the door, her green collar jingling like a tiny bell, you can almost hear the excitement in the air. Chuchu's ears perk up the second she spots a squirrel, as if they've sent her a secret invitation to a game of chase. With her little legs pumping like a cartoon character, she becomes a furry rocket, zooming after her favorite fluffy foes. But beware, when she's in the zone, it's not just a chase, it's a full-on mission. If you happen to be in her way, you may just find yourself caught in a whirlwind of tail and determination. Chuchu's funny antics don't stop at the park. Oh no, she has her own unique way of asserting her diva status at home too. Picture this. You're trying to enjoy your snack when suddenly, Chuchu, with her dramatic flair, lets out a bark that echoes through the house. It's a sound so fierce that neighbors have jokingly dubbed her the gangster of the snack table. Little do they know, she's just protecting her precious food from the big bad world. Sure, she's temperamental at times, but who wouldn't be if they had to share their treats? It's all in good fun, and her hilarious personality makes every meal an event. Sometimes Chuchu faces challenges that require a bit more patience and understanding. With her unique health condition, she needs special care, including the occasional diaper. Imagine a French bulldog strutting around in a diaper. It's like she's wearing a fashionable accessory that says, "I'm fabulous," even when life gets messy. This situation has become a running joke among her friends, and they've even started calling her the diaper diva. Chuchu handles it all with a wagging tail and a playful nudge, reminding us that a little humor can lighten even the most awkward moments. Building friendships is another part of Chuchu's adventure. At the dog park, she's the social butterfly, making friends with every pup she meets. Whether it's a tiny chihuahua or a big fluffy golden retriever, Chuchu knows how to charm them all. Her green collar gleams as she prances around, showcasing her style while inviting new pals to join her in a game of chase. Watching her interact is like seeing a mini celebrity at a red carpet event, complete with wagging tails and joyful barks. It's a reminder that every moment spent with her is a chance to create new memories and strengthen friendships. Cherishing every moment with Chuchu means embracing the laughter, the chaos, and even the challenges. It's about enjoying the simple things, like watching her chase squirrels or snuggle up after a long day of play. Life with Chuchu might not always be perfect, but it's undoubtedly filled with joy and humor. As you venture through the dog park or cuddle up at home, remember that every bark, every chase, and every silly moment is a treasure. So grab your leash, put on a smile, and get ready for another day of laughter and love with your favorite Frenchie. Chapter 1. Meet Chuchu, the Frenchie dog. The fabulous life of a French bulldog. The fabulous life of Chuchu, the Frenchie, is nothing short of a doggy dream come true. Picture a black, snorting bundle of joy with a green collar that glows like a beacon of adventure, ready to take on the world one squirrel at a time. Every time someone approaches, her ears perk up like radar dishes, scanning for potential playmates or the next snack opportunity. With her adorable little face and charming personality, Chuchu has a knack for making friends wherever she goes. From the tiniest Chihuahua to the biggest Great Dane, they all want to be part of her fabulous life. Every day is an adventure at the park, where Chuchu runs with the grace of a hippo on roller skates. She loves to chase squirrels, leaping and bounding with a determination that would make an Olympic athlete jealous. But let's not forget her barking. When someone dares to invade her space, especially if food is involved, her bark transforms into a full-on gangster growl. Neighbors chuckle, calling her the protector of the park, as she lets everyone know that her treats are off limits. Who knew such a tiny dog could have such a big voice? Chuchu's life isn't all about barking and chasing squirrels, though. She has a flair for fashion, strutting around the park in her stylish green collar that lights up like a disco ball. As she prances, other dogs can't help but admire her dazzling accessory. But the true magic happens when she gets to show off her personality. Whether she's rolling in the grass or giving a dramatic sigh of annoyance when her favorite toy gets stuck under the couch, Chuchu's antics keep her friends entertained and laughing. However, life isn't always a walk in the park for our fabulous Frenchie. Chuchu has a condition that sometimes requires her to wear diapers. But don't let that fool you. This stylish pup rocks her outfit like a true fashionista, proving that even with a little hiccup in her health, she can still live her best life. And when she's not busy being a diva, she's reminding everyone that it's okay to embrace your quirks and laugh about them, turning any mishap into a hilarious story. She also sticks her tongue out when she